The day my divorce was finalized, I didn't feel free. That's what everyone expects, right? Relief, closure, some dramatic sense of a new beginning. But sitting in my car outside the courthouse, staring at a piece of paper that legally erased 10 years of my life, all I felt was hollow, like someone had scooped everything out of me and left just enough behind to function. I remember gripping the steering wheel, wondering how something so official could feel so unreal. My phone buzzed. It was work. Of course it was. I almost ignored it. For a second, I really considered just driving anywhere else. But I didn't, I never do. Responsibility has a way of dragging you back, even when you're barely holding together. "Marcus, where are you?" It was Linda from HR. "Just finished at the courthouse," I said, my voice sounding distant even to me. There was a pause on the line, softer now. "I'm sorry, listen. Ms. Carter wants to see you, as soon as possible." I frowned. "Today?" "Yes, she said it's important." Important. That word sat wrong in my chest. I worked for a logistics firm. My boss, Evelyn Carter, wasn't the kind of person who called you into her office for anything small. She was sharp, controlled, and always 10 steps ahead. People respected her, feared her a little too, and she never did anything without a reason. I drove to the office in a blur, barely remembering the traffic lights or the turns. By the time I got there, the sky had started to dim, like the day itself was tired. The office felt quieter than usual. A few people glanced at me, offering those awkward half-smiles. People give when they know something bad happened, but don't know what to say. I kept my head down and walked straight to her office. Her door was slightly open. I knocked anyway. "Come in, Marcus." Her voice was calm, measured. I stepped inside, and that's when something felt off. She was standing behind her desk, not sitting. Her posture was stiff, almost like she'd been waiting for this exact moment. "Close the door," she said. I did. "Lock it." That made my stomach tighten. I hesitated for half a second before turning the lock. The soft click echoed louder than it should have. I turned back to her, forcing a small, uneasy smile. "Everything okay?" She didn't answer right away. Instead, she walked around her desk slowly, her heels clicking against the floor with precise rhythm. Then she stopped a few feet in front of me. "Marcus," she said, her eyes fixed on mine, "how are you holding up?" It was such a simple question, but coming from her, it felt loaded. "I'm fine," I lied. She studied me for a moment longer than comfortable. Then she nodded slightly, like she expected that answer. "Your divorce was finalized today." It wasn't a question. "Yes." "And your ex-wife, Emily." My chest tightened at her name. "Yeah. She left you for someone else." I blinked. "How do you—" "Because I've been watching this unfold for months." That's when the room shifted. "Watching?" I repeated, my voice lower now. She turned away from me, walking toward the window. Outside, the city lights were starting to flicker on one by one. "I need you to listen carefully," she said. "And I need you not to interrupt." Something in her tone made it clear this wasn't optional. My heart started to pound. "Emily didn't just leave you," she continued. "She was involved with someone connected to this company." I felt like the air had been knocked out of me. "What?" "She didn't tell you, did she?" "No," I said, my voice tightening. "Who?" Evelyn turned back to face me. "Daniel Reeves." The name hit me like a punch. Daniel was one of our top executives. Charismatic, polished, and married. "You're lying," I said immediately. But even as the words left my mouth, doubt crept in. I wish I was. I shook my head, pacing now. No, Emily wouldn't. She wouldn't do that." "Not with someone like him?" Evelyn watched me carefully. "You're sure about that?" I stopped, because suddenly memories started surfacing. Late nights she couldn't explain. The way she'd grown distant. The arguments that never seemed to have a clear cause. The pieces I'd ignored. My stomach twisted. "Why are you telling me this?" I asked, my voice barely steady. "Because it doesn't stop there." "Of course it didn't." "It never does," I muttered. Evelyn took a step closer, her expression sharper now. "Daniel Reeves is under investigation." I blinked. "For what?" "Financial misconduct, embezzlement. We've been tracking discrepancies for months." My head was spinning. "And Emily?" I asked. "What does she have to do with that?" Evelyn hesitated for the first time. Then she said, "We believe she may have been involved." The room went silent. "No," I whispered. "Marcus." "No," I said louder, shaking my head. "You're wrong." She wouldn't. She had access, Evelyn cut in. Through you. That's when it hit me. All the times I'd worked from home. The documents I'd reviewed. The files I'd left. Open on my laptop. Emily had been there. Always there. I felt sick. You think she used me, I said slowly. To get to your company. Evelyn didn't answer. She didn't need to. I ran a hand through my hair, trying to breathe. So what, you think I'm involved too? Her eyes softened slightly. No, if I did, you wouldn't be here having this conversation. That didn't make me feel better. Then why lock the door? She stepped closer, lowering her voice. Because what I'm about to tell you puts you in danger. Every instinct in my body went on high alert. Daniel knows we're closing in, she continued. And if Emily is involved, she might have already told him everything. Everything? About the company. About the investigation. She paused. About you. A cold wave washed over me. What does that mean? It means you could be a liability to him. I stared at her, the weight of her words sinking in. You think he'd come after me? I think he'll do whatever he needs to protect himself. My heart was pounding so hard I could hear it. This is insane, I said, but it didn't sound convincing anymore. Evelyn reached into her desk and pulled out a folder. Take this, she said, handing it to me. I hesitated before opening it. Inside were documents. Bank transfers, emails, photos. One of them made my breath catch. Emily, sitting across from Daniel at a restaurant. His hand on hers. I felt something inside me crack. That was taken 3 months ago, Evelyn said quietly. 3 months? While we were still married? While I was trying to fix things. I closed the folder slowly, my hands trembling. What do you want from me? I asked. Evelyn held my gaze. I want your help. I let out a bitter laugh. Help? You just told me my ex-wife might be a criminal and now I'm a target. What exactly do you think I can do? You know her, she said. You know how she thinks? Where she might go? I shook my head. I thought I knew her. That's more than we have. Silence filled the room again. I looked down at the folder, then back at her. And if I say no? Evelyn's expression didn't change. Then you walk out of here, she said, and hope Daniel doesn't see you as a loose end. That wasn't really a choice. I exhaled slowly, the weight of everything pressing down on me. My life just fell apart this morning, I said. And now you're telling me it might not have been real to begin with. Evelyn didn't respond. Because what could she say? I looked at the folder again. Evidence. At the truth I didn't want to accept. Then I nodded. Tell me what to do. And in that moment something shifted inside me. The hollow feeling from earlier. It was still there. But now it was filled with something else. Clarity. Because if my life had been built on lies, then I had nothing left to protect. And nothing left to lose. Evelyn gave a small, almost imperceptible nod. Good, she said. Then she unlocked the door. And just like that, everything changed.